Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
It should be the last day of February, but we got a leap year. CJ Nasello, it's our daily show, RiverBender.com, Roku TV, anywhere you get the show. And thanks for always hanging out with us. You know, we got a great show lined up for all of you today. I tentatively set at 9:20 because we had some and some issues with some emails getting back and forth and then some change of hands over at Centerstone. We should be talking to Hannah Jones right around 9:20 today. If not, we'll reschedule that conversation. And this will be all about Centerstone's substance use disorder treatment programs. They are a national leader for a reason, and we're so blessed here at RiverBender.com to have that conversation, to really destigmatize this and really just provide resources. This is a situation, folks, where you're going to want to know the information before you need to know the information. So very fortunate to have Centerstone's partnership in this with us. Then at 10 o'clock, we don't have news today. We are talking to Craig Hentrich, and I'm looking forward to that. Craig is a Super Bowl champion, an NFL Hall of Famer, and a proud Marquette Catholic alum who has started a really cool thing called Master Your Punting and Kicking. These are online courses that are tailor-made to the prospective kickers out there. I mean, there's so many from the Alton, Godfrey, the Riverbend region that would benefit so greatly on this. So I figured this is a great opportunity. Let's provide that information to all of you, and let's talk a little bit more to Craig about his time in Alton and, you know, all of his career as a whole, too. But that comes your way at 10 o'clock. Then at 10:30, we're going to be talking to a few teachers from the Jersey Community Unit School District number 100. They received some really cool acknowledgments over the last couple of weeks, and we're going to talk to all three of the teachers, get their insights, and really just have a great time celebrating their accomplishments with the Jersey Community Unit School District. But at 9:04, here's what's happening around the River Bend. Make sure you sign up for your daily email update. Why is my chair so far back? And you'll never miss out. You can join myself and over 70,000 people each and every day of the work weekend on Saturdays with Around the River Bend. We'll take you to Alton first. Dalton Brown does report that a man from Alton previously convicted of domestic battery and unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon has been charged with his second or subsequent offense of domestic battery, according to Madison County court documents. Clarence Estelle, 32 years of age, of Alton, was charged with his second offense of battery, a Class 4 felony, on February the 15th. Estelle allegedly caused bodily harm to a household or family member by striking the victim, quote, about the face with his hands multiple times, causing injury, end quote. A petition filed to deny Estelle's pretrial release states the victim, quote, sustained injuries to her face, including a swollen left eye, a laceration above her eye, a swollen lip with a laceration, and blood on her clothing. The domestic disturbance occurred after the victim went to collect their personal belongings from Estelle. After collecting her belongings, she went to her vehicle, at which time the defendant pulled her out of the vehicle and proceeded to strike her multiple times about the face with his hands. The petition states, it continues, upon being placed under arrest, the defendant made statements to officers that he wasn't going back to jail and that officers should kill him. Further stated that upon being released that he would go back to residence and kill everyone, end quote. The petition also states Estelle has a prior felony conviction for domestic battery from 2022 in Madison County. At the time of his latest offense, he was out on bond from a 2023 Madison County case in which he was charged with unlawful possession of a weapon by a felon. Estelle's latest domestic battery case was presented by the Alton Police Department. The state of Illinois will reportedly seek an enhanced Class 4 sentence based on Estelle's prior conviction of domestic battery. According to court documents, Estelle was remanded to be held in jail until his initial appearance in court. Also in the news, Dalton Brown reporting that a man from Edwardsville had been charged with multiple firearm-related felonies after shooting in the direction of a public park and at multiple victims backing out of a driveway in a residential neighborhood. Here's what we know. Daniel Matlock, 30 years of age, of Edwardsville, was charged with armed violence, aggravated discharge of a firearm, reckless discharge of a firearm, and possession of cannabis with intent to deliver on February the 13th, 2024. This incident stemmed from an argument between multiple individuals in Matlock who allegedly shot at them as they attempted to leave a residence in the 900th block of Hale Avenue, just across the street from LeClaire Park, a public park. Here's a statement. As victims were backing out of the driveway to leave, they reported that Matlock produced a firearm and discharged it repeatedly in their direction. The petition did state. It continues, Matlock reportedly fired in the direction of a public park, which was directly behind the victim's vehicle. Officers discovered evidence of this and other crimes both inside and outside the residence shortly following this incident. Another statement from the petition, officers located shell casings in the landscaping of the residence. In the search of the residence, it revealed in Matlock's bedroom multiple rounds of 9mm ammunition matching those in the landscaping, and in the adjoining crawl space, a 9mm handgun. Also in the residence, officers located a cannabis grow and packing materials for delivery. This specific firearm discovered in this case was a Glock 19 9mm handgun. Matlock's possession of this weapon, in addition to over 30 grams of cannabis, resulted in the armed violence charge since he possessed a dangerous weapon while committing another felony under Illinois law. Matlock faces 4 total felonies, including a Class X felony for armed violence, a Class 1 felony for aggravated discharge of a firearm, another Class 4 felony for reckless discharge of a firearm, and a Class 3 felony for possession of cannabis with intent to deliver. The Edwardsville Police Department did present this case, and Matlock was reportedly remanded to be held in jail until his initial appearance in court. Sydney Sinks reporting out of Edwardsville yesterday that modified plans for Edwardsville High School's restroom renovation was presented at the regular meeting of the Edwardsville Community Unit School District Number 7 Board of Education on February the 26th. Many community members were present at the meeting to express their concerns about the proposed renovation, which is part of a plan to expand the high school commons area. The all-gender restrooms will include single-user stalls with sinks in an open corridor. Alex Metzger, the district's architect, brought these plans to the board during the work session on February the 12th. The single users, the whole point of them is to be completely private, Metzger explained during the work session. Their floor-to-ceiling masonry walls, drywall ceilings, and standard doors with full locking capability. So that makes them completely private, secure, and safe. During the visitors' comment portion of the meeting, several parents expressed concerns about the safety of the restrooms. They said it would be difficult to monitor the space, which is important if multiple genders will be in the restrooms at the same time. A few community members, including Madison County Chairman Kurt Prenzler, also spoke against the all-gender aspect of the proposed renovations. Later in the meeting, Superintendent Dr. Patrick Shelton explained that the existing restrooms are bordered by a 3-hour firewall, which is why the wall cannot be removed to create a completely open corridor. He noted that the sewer and water lines in the existing restrooms need to be redone, and this initiated the conversation about renovating the restrooms as part of the EHS common expansion. Now, over the years, there have been many complaints from parents about the safety of restrooms. Shelton said this is partly why they decided to consider other designs based on what other St. Louis area schools have done with single-user stalls and a common space for sinks. From day one of coming into the district, this has been a talking point, Shelton said. My kids don't feel like they can use that restroom. They don't feel safe in that restroom, so the structure of the restroom was part of the conversation as well. Following the feedback from the February 12th work session, Metzger created 2 new design options for the restroom. This new design would eliminate any hiding spots and a third entrance to increase visibility. The Madison County Regional Office of Education requires that bathrooms to have at least 20 toilet fixtures based on the student population and the restroom's location in the school, but the ROE can approve plans with less than 20 fixtures at their discretion. Metzger presented the board with the 2 design options for the restrooms. Option 1 would have 17 fixtures with 2 entrances and more open space. Option 2 would have 22 fixtures with 3 entrances. Students from the Superintendent Student Advisory Board also spoke about the renovations. They toured a St. Louis high school with a similar bathroom design last week. All of the students expressed support for the bathroom renovations as designed. The board also discussed each option and suggested a few design changes to widen the entrances, improve access to the accessible stalls, and move mirrors to the outside of the bathrooms to keep the space above the sinks open for increased monitoring. Board member Scott Earhart noted that the renovations don't address the systemic problems that have led to safety concerns in the restroom. Here's his quote: "This solves one problem, but we also have to keep in mind the root cause of this because we haven't resolved the underlying issues. I hope as we move forward with one of these that we keep in mind and we still go back and address the root cause why the kids don't feel safe. These renovations would only affect one of the 3 restrooms in the high school. The vote on the common expansion and the restroom renovation has been delayed until the board's regular meeting on March the 25th. If construction moves forward as planned, it would be completed by August 2025. A full recording of the Board of Education meeting can be found online with a hyperlink on the RiverBender.com article that will take you directly to it. Also in the news out of Edwardsville Community Unit School District Number 7 has named Michael Corey as principal of Lincoln Middle School and Kyle Stewart as associate principal of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment at Edwardsville High School. Both hires were approved February 26th by the Board of Education. Corey and Stewart will assume their roles on July the 1st of this year. Out of Brighton, the village of Brighton celebrated Alan Jones's 95th birthday with the official Alan Jones Day on February 26. Jones is a lifetime resident of Brighton and a member of St. John United Church of Christ. His contributions to the church, the Bott Cemetery Board, and the Independent Order of Odd Fellows Chapter 366 have made him stand out as a community treasure and a friend to all, said Reverend John Pulowski. It was just this really neat moment of this man who had been at the church his entire life, who was probably personally responsible for most of the people that are currently members feeling welcomed and joining the church, Pulowski added. He's held every position imaginable in the church, and he's just one of those people. He has a bright smile all the time. You couldn't ask for a nicer person, and he's just a joy to be around. Everyone in the village of Brighton knows him. To celebrate the official Alan Jones Day, members of St. John provided testimonials about Jones's friendship and how he has welcomed them to the church community. Pulowski led a laying on of hands on Jones and offered a blessing. Jones and his wife Audrey are, quote, the cutest couple, Pulowski said. They marked their 75th wedding anniversary a few months ago. She was right by his side as the church members talked about Jones and ate chocolate chip cookies, his favorite, to celebrate his day. Jones is always on the move, and he can often be found landscaping at the church, preparing fish for a fish fry, or doing other tasks to help the church thrive. He just never stops and is constantly helping other people in the community. This is why the mayor of Brighton, Mayor Matt Caston, noted that Brighton does not usually issue proclamations, but could make an exception for Jones, Pulowski said. It was a special day, and I still have goosebumps thinking about it. Our church is just tickled pink to have him, and we're happy to have a celebration. One final bit of news for you out of Alton. Alton Community Unit School District number 11 will host a public meeting about special education services on March the 11th. Here's what we know. The meeting will address services that are available for students who attend private or home schools within the district. Accused 11 has received grant money that will allow them to provide services for non-public schools and students. The meeting will discuss these services and how non-public schools can utilize this grant money. There are some grants that have allocations that allow for non-public participation, explained Assistant Superintendent Elaine Kane. So, as the recipient of those funds, it's our job to communicate with our partners in the district boundaries to talk about what funds can be available and how they can be used. Marquette Catholic High School, St. Mary's Catholic School, Catholic Children's Home, and St. Ambrose Catholic School are a few of the participating schools that will likely be in attendance at the meeting. These schools will report back to the school district with information about how they will use the money, which Alton School District will then report to the granting entity. Kane added that this process is pretty routine for the school district. Parents who homeschool are also encouraged to attend the meeting, whether or not their child has been identified with a disability. The meeting will start at 10 a.m. on March the 11th over video conference. You can contact Kathy Elliott, the Director of Special Education, at 618-463-2137 or for more information, including how to access the meeting. At 9:18, let's take a quick look at your weather forecast. 24 degrees right now in downtown Alton. It ain't yesterday, that's for darn sure. It feels like 15 degrees out there. At least the sun's out today. Let's take a look at downtown Alton real briefly while I fill you in on the rest of it. Sun shining down on Clark Bridge, the sun reflecting up on the old mighty Mississippi, and today we'll see a lot of sun, mostly sunny, windy, and much colder. Bundle up as winter's back in town. Tonight, clear, and tonight, cold. Temperatures will reach just 38 degrees today. They will drop down to 21 overnight. On Thursday, a high of 50, a low of 31 degrees. On the first day of March, a high of 54, a low of 34, and a 55% chance of precipitation. On Saturday, a high of 67, a low of 47, and then on Sunday, a high of 75, a low of 53, as spring is starting to peek its head into the 618. For time and temperature throughout the day, 618-465-4545. This time powered by Bounce Back, Rehab, Recover, and Return Home. For that sky cam, you can see it in real time all the time at RiverBender.com/weather. Before I take a quick pause, the Alabama story is hitting Alton Little Theater March 15th through the 24th. This is going to be a great show. This is directed by Lee Cox and Gail Drillinger, and this is one you don't want to miss. A relevant story about one town's and one librarian's journey to understand the value of books and civil discourse. This play has national recognition as a must-see piece of theater on March the 15th, 16th, and the 20th through the 23rd. You can see the show at Alton Little Theater at 7:30 p.m. on the evenings, and for matinees, March the 17th and March the 24th, the matinees at 2 p.m. You can find out more information by going to altonlittletheater.org, that's altonlittletheater.org, or by calling the box office. Michael would love to talk to you, 618-462-3205.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team.
We've got Joey.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a weekend warrior, gear up with Falcommit and elevate your hunting experience. From rugged gear for the seasoned hunter to adorable outfits for the little ones, we've got your whole family covered. Literally, because the best moments are made in the great outdoors. And with Falcommit, you're not just wearing gear, you're wearing the stories of your adventures. Discover the joy of hunting together. Visit Falcommit.com and outfit your family for the next generations of memories.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
It's very challenging to live with whatever we carry.
Centerstone is a one-of-a-kind place.
And it was the best decision I ever made in my life. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
You can tell that it is a definite Wednesday morning, and Hannah Jones with Centerstone. It runs the Centerstone Recovery Transitional Housing Program. As you guys know, we've started our conversations with Centerstone because this is a very important topic and information that's good to know before a situation gets rough, because we all know of individuals that are struggling. And Hannah's going to join us now by Zoom. Hannah, how are we doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. And I really appreciate your time today. You do run the program, and if you could, give us a brief overview before we get started on what the program is all about.
Okay. So our typical kind of clientele are those that are coming out of like a 28-day program and maybe just need some additional kind of sober living support. They maybe just don't have the best area to return to, or they were homeless before. We just want to make sure that they are set up for success in their continued recovery.
And what?
So,
oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Don't let me cut you off.
No, I was just going to say it's typically a 3 to 6 month program, and we kind of work with them on getting back out into the community. So like getting a job, getting an ID, again, getting their birth certificate, anything that they're going to need to be a successful member of the community again.
Well, and Hannah, that is such a crucial step because I can only imagine how many people, they complete that 28-day program, they go and put all that hard work in, and now it's what's next, and that's where I'm sure your services are so valuable because I'm sure for a lot of folks, and you'd have better understanding than I would about this, that they just don't know where to start.
Absolutely. It can be very overwhelming for somebody that is not, they're sober and they don't know necessarily what next or how to proceed with getting a job again or, how to make a resume or anything like that. So the case management services we provide are crucial for them to be able to maintain that sobriety and continue to learn those new skills.
And what's the relationship look like with yourself and one of the individuals in the program? I'm sure it's a pretty hands-on a hands-on situation where you're working directly with each other. Is that the case?
Absolutely. I do have a small team of recovery specialists that kind of help with, all the case management type services. And then we have a therapist at Extended Care as well, that we're all just a really tight-knit little team over here. So it doesn't matter what needs to get done. We all pitch in to make sure it happens.
Well, and take me through, Hannah, because, I find this such a crucial step in really getting back out there and really hitting and getting on the road to recovery and really hitting that final stride. What are some of the hurdles that an individual would have to overcome? I know you've mentioned resumes and just getting that kind of life balance in check, but I could only imagine, too, you're still coming off of your 28-day program that you were a part of, and now you still have to, keep up with some of the exercises, some of the work that's already been put in, plus start working again. Is there a little bit of a difficulty in finding that balance for some?
Oh, absolutely. People struggle in different areas, so it's all about meeting the client at where they are. Some of them really struggle with time management skills. Some of them have struggled with just like independent living skills. Like some of them don't know how to cook anything, don't know how to do laundry. So it's kind of, we step in, we teach them those skills and kind of keep them moving forward so that they can live independently at some point in the future. No, go ahead.
Well, the reason I'm asking too, Hannah, is because, with that, I can only imagine this isn't a one age demographic that you guys encounter on the day-to-day basis. Do you encounter a lot of different age ranges that utilize the program?
Absolutely. The spread that I have right now is a pretty good spread,
Is
right?
it?
My youngest is 22 and then my oldest is, 64. So
Wow.
we have a pretty wide range of people that we serve. So a lot of different personalities, a lot of different just needs in general.
Well, and how do you act on those personalities? Because I'm sure, the way that you interact with your 22-year-old's a lot different than the way that you would interact with the 64-year-old. Is that where your guys' training really comes in to understanding, where those folks are at?
Definitely. Because like you said, the 22-year-old, he's a lot more advanced with like technology and things like that. Where the 64-year-old, you kind of have to hold his hand a little bit and say like, all right, now click this button that takes you to Google, So some things are a little bit challenging, but every single age range has its own challenges for sure.
Well, and take me through that relationship too, because, just that alone, explaining how Google works and all of that, I can only imagine there is a little bit of some, I wouldn't want to say humor to it, but a little bit of some jovialness to it because you're learning a new skill. You're doing everything right. You've already completed 28 days. And now we're really hitting our stride and we're learning new things together. Is it a little bit of enjoyment for the individual as they're kind of learning some of this stuff to benefit, or is there some frustration that comes in with learning all of this at once?
I would say it's a good mix of both. They do get kind of easily frustrated when things don't go exactly how they've planned. But then definitely there are a lot of times that we're celebrating little everyday successes of, hey, I applied for a job all on my own and I got an interview, and they're just so proud of that. And I think it's awesome to be able to stand beside them while they do celebrate those successes.
100.
I think it's things that we take for granted a lot. in our everyday lives.
100% over. And take me through the program itself. We were talking a little bit before, and this was the first time, Hannah, in a while I didn't have notes because we had a little bit of a transition in how we normally do our segments. But take me through the program. So it's 3 to 6 months. And now, is this an inpatient or an outpatient type of program?
It's kind of considered a little bit of both.
Okay.
They do live with us, but they are able to go out into the community on like either passes or, as they go out into work, into the field again. So they do have the freedom to move around a little bit, but then they do have a safe environment to return to in the evening when they're done with work or whatever the pass was for.
That's really, really cool. And now, how many beds do you have in your facility?
I currently have 16.
And are they all full?
They are currently. So very proud of that right now.
Well, and take me through, is there ever a time where is it a constant door of always keeping those 16 beds full? Because I can only imagine there's so many folks that really do need this type of service, because I always felt like, it's great to get to that 28 days and I'm proud of you and you worked hard. But now to have this where we're setting you up for success in life, you did the hard work. Now it's time to get us back moving again. And I could only imagine it's just 16, 16, 16 full. Is that the case?
Unfortunately, not always. There are some times that we've had some open beds, and, it's like anything in recovery. It's not a fun topic, but relapse happens. So, I mean, you're always going to have some people that fall off and, relapse, have some issues maintaining that sobriety. You'll have some people that are like, I don't want to follow your rules. So they've decided that the program's just not for them anymore. So, I mean, unfortunately, we have had some times where we've had a lot of open beds, but we generally are able to fill them pretty quickly because people are looking for some sort of additional support.
Well, and too, in those conversations, I'm sure they're very frustrating to have because, I can see both sides of that coin, in the sense of, who likes being given rules, in all fairness, but also on your end of things, you have to, you can't force, but you still have to be honest. And I'm sure that gets pretty difficult. Is that the case sometimes when you're having those conversations with the individuals that are in the program?
For sure. Yeah. It's frustrating because like I'm not enforcing these rules just to be like you're gonna do exactly what I say, how I say it. I'm doing it because I genuinely care about these people and I want them to do well. And rules and structure and routine are the basic building blocks of sobriety. So if we can't maintain those things, our sobriety is going to go right out the window too.
100% over. And Hannah, just by talking with you and then, talking with a few of the others that I've had the opportunity to speak with at Centerstone, it seems like the relationship that you have with those individuals in the program is more of, even though you're still taking care of them, you're still working in that setting, it seems like there's a lot, I hate to say the word family atmosphere, but it is because you really do get to know that person and you really get to see their characteristics, their character traits and what gets them going. And I think that's why what you guys do is so invaluable because you make that individual feel like a real person again.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is if you're really trying to make an impact in this person's life, you're going to learn about who their kids are, if they have a partner, you're going to learn about mom and dad and everybody that's important to them and, their hobbies, their dislikes, their likes, and even just simple things of like a tradition that I have at extended care, CRTHs, every single person that has a birthday, I make them a birthday cake.
That is so
I feel like
cool.
We have to have those little moments of like, we're celebrating you and we're thankful that you're still here for another year.
And, not to go into a whole different sector of this conversation, but, I can only imagine for a lot of these folks, maybe not, but just from my, interpretation, just sitting on the other side of the screen here, Hannah, is that, for the first time in a while, they were acknowledged, and that's kind of my takeaway on it. I could only imagine that there's some folks that you've celebrated birthdays for that hadn't had a true birthday celebration in years.
Yeah, we just celebrated a birthday with one of our newer residents that I made him a birthday cake and he's like, I haven't had a birthday cake since I was 12 and he just turned 47.
Oh,
so
wow.
I mean, it's been a really long time for him, but it was really sweet. He was very, very grateful. for just even that small act of kindness.
Do you think that those type of situations, whether it's a birthday, a holiday, do you think that's what do you think that's one of those X factors in this program and the road to really, hitting your stride, getting back out there, that transition? Do you think that's a good driving force for folks to keep moving, that just the mental boost that comes with that?
100%. I'm a huge believer in that. If not every day may be good, but there's something good in every day. And if we can find those things and we can celebrate them and we can focus on that, then we can get through any kind of bad situation that might be thrown our way.
That has to be one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard on this show, and I've done radio for 6 years. You're absolutely right. Not every day is going to be a good day, but there's always good in a day. And Hannah, what's to you the most valuable part of what you guys do in this program?
And just getting these clients to understand that they are valuable. They bring so much to the table, even though through active addiction, they may think very little of themselves, but they're still human beings that matter to people in their lives. They matter to us here at Centerstone. We really care, and we love to see when, even if they leave our programs, that they're still doing well and that they're able to maintain sobriety, or God forbid, if they have a relapse, they know they can come back to Centerstone and, come back to their recovery family. It's always a nice thing to kind of establish that rapport with somebody, to let them know, like, you're always welcome here and we will always help you.
100%. And as we're having this conversation with Hannah Jones and Centerstone, our substance use segments, and, I want to highlight really quickly before I ask you another question, Hannah, is recoverwithus.org, recoverwithus.org, because that's the website that will give you all this valuable information. And Hannah, my thought process is by doing these, and when I started working with Dallas at the time and now just with you guys in general, it's information you need to know before you need to know it, because I could only imagine being in crisis and having, all the turmoil that could come with, making that decision. It's time to seek help. It's hard to really take a moment and a breath to look up all this information, and that's why I always value our conversations here. And Hannah, I wanted to ask you more about the supporters of the individual that's going through your program, because I'm sure, at this point in time, if, they had any, issues because of their addictions or because of their circumstance, that they might have had a few relationships, maybe hit a hiatus. And now that, we're starting to think a little bit clearly, now that we're getting some good help, do those relationships maybe start to come back at this point? Is that when they start reaching out again? What's that look like in the terms of the supporters or the family members of that individual?
Yeah, so I think that really takes clients a little off guard sometimes, of how quickly those relationships can be repaired when they're not just like telling their families that they're doing better, but they're showing them through their actions. I mean, we've seen, families come back together. We've seen moms start talking to the kids again. We've seen parents that are now very willing to help them get back on their feet versus having totally cut them off when they were in active addiction. So those relationships do come back. And honestly, in recovery, those relationships are usually 1,000 times stronger than they ever were.
That's what I was wondering too, because I could only imagine when that rehashing or that, come together moment happens, how strong that bond is. And I mean, even witnessing it, I couldn't do what you do, because I'd start crying like a baby every time. That's just, I mean, I really would, because those moments are really why I think what you guys do is so invaluable, because through all of it, I think we forget sometimes the personal relationships and maybe just relationships in general that were burned because of the issues that someone was going through. And one thing I always like to point out, Hannah, and I hit on it a little bit earlier, is that this can happen to anybody. And how long have you been at Centerstone, if you don't mind me asking?
I was hired in May of 2023.
Oh, wow. So we're getting ready to hit a year.
Yeah, almost.
In your year, take me through just that year with Centerstone, and what sets them apart, what sets Centerstone apart from other organizations that might be doing the same thing, because all of them are valuable, but I think what you guys do is just a step ahead of everyone else.
I, as like an employee, I'll speak on both levels, but as an employee, one thing I've truly enjoyed at Centerstone is that we have this culture of coaching. So anybody can offer constructive criticism on what you're doing just to make you better. And I think as a company, that's a fantastic thing to offer for your employees. But just the way that, you know, we reach out to anybody, whether they be in like a medically assisted treatment program, whether they have, you know, co-occurring disorders, we make ourselves available, and we have a wide array of services, and we're pretty spread out. Like, we have several locations. So I think that in general, like us being so widespread and having multiple access points makes it a lot easier for people to make that decision to come into treatment versus, you know, if it's a facility that only has one location, it might be harder for that person to access that care.
100%. And Hannah, as we've been talking, just getting back to the treatment program, because I want to focus on that in these 3 to 6 months. We talked a little bit about an overview of what the program does, but if we could go more in depth, take me through just how it breaks down. Does it start off in baby steps, you know, when somebody starts with you guys in that first couple of weeks, and then does it progress, or is all of that, is all the opportunity given on day one?
No, we actually do have like a phase kind of set up.
Okay.
So when everybody comes in, they're in kind of like a probationary phase. So for the first 2 weeks, they're restricted to only going out for like medically necessary appointments, just so that they can, you know, get used to a new environment, get used to going to groups, just get used to having a little bit more freedom than they were probably used to in like a 28-day program. But then after that, like 2 weeks, they're able to like start going out into the community, start looking for work. You know, they're able to start going out on like passes with family or to meetings or anything like that out in the community. So, you know, with anything, again, you know, like we've mentioned before, they've kind of burned some bridges, and, you know, they've made some bad choices in the past. So we restrict that just to make them kind of, for lack of a better way to say it, earn a little bit of trust back, and prove that they are able to withstand that temptation and those triggers that are in the community. But yeah, then they are able to earn other privileges, like towards the end of their stay, they can earn like overnight passes or just additional, like more time out of the building to be spent with family, friends, or whoever is their support system.
That's a great point. And it's something that I wouldn't even think about, you know, just talking with you. How important is that earning mentality? Because, you know, just by hearing you talk, you're right. If you go, all right, great, here you go, you know, what's that really instill? What values are being learned there? What skills? To you, is that a type of incentive? Because that's what I consider as an incentive. We do great, here's what we get. How important is that for the long-term care of that individual, not just the short-term, but for years to come?
I think it's incredibly important, because a lot of people in recovery get very frustrated when they can't see tangible successes. And I think by letting them know, like, because I usually pull people into my office and I'll be like, hey, you're about ready to phase up. Like, you've been doing really well. You know, you're going to get these extra privileges. They get really excited, because a lot of them are seeking that validation of knowing that they're doing well and that somebody else sees that they're doing well. So it's always just really nice, whoever we are, it's a people thing. We want to know when people see that we're doing the right thing and that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and, you know, to get rewarded for that. So it's very important, I think, for the program and for that person's longevity and sobriety.
100%. And Hannah, what's the best way for folks to learn more about the program and ways that, you know, they can see that information just in case they ever need it, or if they need it currently?
So Centerstone's website has all of our referral process. It has my referral worksheet that asks questions about your kind of like your background and things. So if you fill that out online, it does come to me, or you can give us a call at Centerstone. They'll direct you over to extended care, and we can take care of you there as well.
Is that the 1-877-HOPE-123 number, Hannah?
Correct. Yes.
And then Recover With Us, is that correct website for this service as well?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure. And Hannah, I think this was one of my most engaging conversations. I really appreciated your time. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about before I say goodbye for now?
I don't necessarily think so. I just thank you for the opportunity to share about my program. I hope it reaches somebody that needs it. And I just want everybody to know that our doors are open, and if we can help, we will.
Absolutely, and we will direct everyone when we do the write-up on this conversation on how to reach out. And Hannah, thank you so much for what you do, because I mean, just such a great program, so invaluable, and I really appreciate your time this morning.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a quick pause here at 9:46. We'll come back and we'll wrap up the 9 o'clock that was right here on RiverBender.com.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team.
We've got Joey.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a weekend warrior, gear up with Falcommit and elevate your hunting experience. From rugged gear for the seasoned hunter to adorable outfits for the little ones, we've got your whole family covered. Literally, because the best moments are made in the great outdoors. And with Falcommit, you're not just wearing gear, you're wearing the stories of your adventures. Discover the joy of hunting together. Visit falcommit.com and outfit your family for the next generations of memories.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Oh yeah, 949. Hey, the Riverbender Tech Center located here at the Riverbender building. Okay, I'm going to do this for everybody upstairs. This is for you. The Tech Center side is located on 312 Bell Street, right across from Max. So whenever you see the building, that big old front door across from Cat Daddy's, that's how you find us in the Riverbender building. Tenants, the Tech Center is across from Max on that Bell Street side of the building. And they are excited to announce the addition of in-home residential computer services. How great is that? Their goal at the Riverbender Tech Center has always been to help people feel comfortable with the technology they use, which is why you receive personal attention when you bring your computer in, cell phone, your tablet, or game console into their locally owned shop for support and repairs. They can explain the repairs needed and offer quotes before repairing, so there are no hidden costs, and always warranty their work. The addition of in-home residential computer services is just one more way they are working to meet their community's needs. In-home residential computer services are designed for the person who is unsure they can put their computer back together once it's repaired, someone who may not have transportation to the shop, or someone who is just looking for more convenience. They are here to make sure you make using your devices easier. For more information, you can call 618-433-8989. That's 618-433-8989. Or visit rbtechcenter.com. That's rbtechcenter.com. So I wanted to fill you in real quick. We aren't going to do top of the hour news because we have a conversation with Craig Hentrich just in about 9 minutes or so, but who's counting? But I did want to fill you in on all of the news, so we are going to do a little bit of a news pause here. Out of Glen Carbon, Madison County Treasurer Chris Slusser shared more information with Glen Carbon trustees on Tuesday about the $51 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds the county received from the federal government from 2021 until 2022. Slusser said at this week's Village Board meeting that while Madison County wasn't in desperate need of ARPA funding like other counties, it turned out to be, quote, bonus money, end quote, which has gone to support several local infrastructure projects. In 2021, Madison County received the first half of $51 million in ARPA funding from the U.S. Department of the Treasury. With the first half, the county chose to fund 17 projects, including infrastructure, stormwater, cybersecurity, pandemic response, and law enforcement projects. Now, in the year 2022, the second half of the funding was allocated towards sewer, drinking water, stormwater projects, and more. Slusser said at the meeting on Tuesday that none of what is allocated towards Slusser said at the meeting on Tuesday that none of it was allocated towards employee bonuses, as other county treasurers had reportedly done. What we've done with the $51 million in ARPA funds is we have partnered with a lot of municipalities on infrastructure projects. I talked to county treasurers. A lot of them were giving bonuses to employees and things like that, and I was like, that would never fly with the taxpayers in Madison County, end quote. Madison County specifically sought to allocate these funds to communities who otherwise couldn't afford to finance their own infrastructure projects, Slusser said. His final quote, "We've just really decided to partner with a lot of communities with infrastructure projects that they would normally not be able to fund, or they would have to borrow or issue a lot of bonds to pay for it. They put some skin in the game, and we did too, and I think that's been a good strategy, and the whole county will benefit from that." For more information, including specific breakdowns of how and where Madison County spent these ARPA funds, that's available on RiverBender.com in previous coverage. One quick thing I wanted to hit on, and I didn't do it yesterday because, we were still coming down from the loss, but I wanted to congratulate the Alton High girls basketball team and really just the foundation that they've built. Last year they had such an incredible run, and this year and just an even more fantastic run. And in Bloomington, it took a long time for Alton to get over last season's sectional semifinal loss to O'Fallon, but the Lady Redbirds, they cleared a hurdle a year later and won their first ever sectional title 2 nights after that. However, their postseason was cut short, just one game away from the state tournament, and that the way it went down is most certainly going to take a while to get over. Alton lost 55-53 in overtime to Aurora Valley Monday night in the IHSA Class 4A Bloomington Super Sectional at the Illinois Wesleyan University's Shirk Center. "I don't know," Alton head coach Desiree Howard said on how long it will take to get over the loss. "It's not as devastating as last year, just simply because we fought. We fought, and we fought hard. Obviously, if you run that game back 2 or 3 times, you might get the same result. You might not. But the result was what it was, and with it, Alton seasons comes to a close with a 32-3 record. The Redbirds lost a 1-possession overtime game, and they did so for the majority without their leading scorer. After a quick 3-0 deficit, Alton rattled off 12 straight points thanks to baskets from Jarius Powers and Talia Norman and a couple of 3-pointers from Alyssa Lewis. The Redbirds led 12-10 after the first quarter, but at that time, nobody cared what the score was. They wanted to know if Kyoko Proctor was all right. With 41 seconds left in the opening frame, Proctor took a hard knock to the floor and stayed on the ground while holding her knee. She never returned to the game. But Alton continued to battle, even after giving up the lead. The Warriors opened the second half with another 3 to take a 31-30 lead, and by the end of the third quarter, they flipped the script and led 42-38. But there was no quit in the Alton Redbirds. Powers and Lacey opened up the 4 strong and helped Alton to a 6-2 run, tying the game back up at 44. The game began tied again at 46, and then again at 49. Powers put up a basket to lead 48-46 with 59 seconds left. Pruitt made one free throw to increase the lead, 49-46, but Wabanzi went the other way and drilled a 3 with 7 seconds remaining to end up forcing overtime. It was the Warriors' second straight overtime game, coming off the 63-61 win over Leslie Bennett Academy, last year's state runner-up. They scored the first 4 points in overtime, including a 3 that would prove to be the dagger to go ahead 53-49. Alton got within a basket twice at 53-51 and 55-53. After the Warriors fumbled the ball, Alton was able to get the last shot of the game off. The ball moved up to Lewis, who put up a Hail Mary three-pointer for the game, but it came up just short as the buzzer sounded. And from all of us here at RiverBender.com, you made your city proud. You made all of us proud. And next year, you're going to do it again. And I have all the faith in the world that next year we're going to be bringing home that state tournament. So to all of the Alton Lady Redbirds basketball team, Coach Desiree Howard, from all of us here at RiverBender.com, congratulations on an amazing season. And I look forward to rooting you on again next year. Before we take a quick pause, let me fill you in on Hainer Library, because they're just quite frankly the best. You know, Hainer is a door. And every time I remember the first time I said that to Mary, I said, you know, you guys are a door. And she kind of looked, yeah. And here's why. It's a door to everything. A door to opportunity. A door to learning. A door to discovery. A door to enjoyment. A door to entertainment. That is Hainer Library, and that's why I'm so excited to have them on as a partner for our show and to have them as a partner on RiverBender.com. I started this show because of places like Hainer that do so much amazing work each and every day of the week, but we drive by the building so much we're used to seeing the name, we never decided to stop our car, poke our head in, and see what's going on. And I love talking and promoting all of the things that Hainer Library does for our community. And whether or not you use them for your library traditional services like books and checking them out, or if you use them for the genealogy department, if you use them for the library of things, hell, if you use the library card just to get ad-free, free streaming of movies on Biblio Plus. All of those things happen right down the road at Hainer Library, and I highly encourage you to check out what's going on, not just today, not just tomorrow, but all the time. There's some powerful lecture series, there's some amazing exhibitions, and there's always an opportunity to discover more with your local community at Hainer Library. For more information, HainerLibrary.org. That's HainerLibrary.org. And once you stop in, just say, hey, CJ, sent me your way. We'll take a quick pause here at 9:58. It's 27 degrees in downtown Alton. It sure as hell ain't yesterday. We'll take a quick pause at 9:59. We'll come back with our conversation with Craig Hentrich, Super Bowl champion and NFL Hall of Famer, along with being a proud Marquette Catholic alum. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Timber!
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
DJ Mike Keith. This is where I am today. Let me show you where I started.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
We do not need news in the 10 o'clock hour of a Wednesday. We have a familiar face to so many joining us again in the 618. Craig Hentrich, NFL Hall of Famer and Marquette Catholic alumni, joining us now by Zoom. How are we doing this morning, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you know, we talked a couple of days ago, and before we get into all the fun of the, you know, the Alton area growing up and playing for Marquette, I came across your Master your Punting and Kicking online courses. And Craig, if I would have made the smart decision of kicking for the full 4 years in high school, I think that my trajectory would be a little bit different. And it's one thing I kick myself for, no pun intended, literally every day about not doing.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's fun while you're doing it, but afterwards it can wear on your body a little bit. So I'm feeling it a little bit now.
I bet. And, you know, before we go into everything else, take me into how you developed Master Your Punting and Kicking, because this is a great opportunity for so many younger athletes to really learn the correct way to do this.
Yeah, so it kind of started just after I retired. I started doing punting and kicking lessons and really struggled with being on the field for so long, staying on those fields for 6-8 hours a day, and just kind of wore me down. And so I kind of took a break from it and really figured out a way to try to teach online. And so what I've kind of figured out through the system, the punting and kicking system these days, is that a lot of the camps that these kids are going to are really rankings-based camps. They don't get a lot of learning and a lot of teaching at those camps, just for the simple fact there's so many kids in these camps. And so you don't get a lot of personal attention, and kids kind of leave there feeling that they really didn't get much help. They just got ranked. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to try to figure out a way to teach online where I could do a more personalized approach and give these kids the time they need to learn the actual knowledge and what it takes to be a good punter and kicker.
And, there's so much I could only imagine what really goes into, really mastering those skills because, Graham, I'm just going to be honest with you. I was told to kick the ball far and long and get it up in the air as high as you could because I had no formal training. And to really learn from an NFL Hall of Famer, and not to patronize you, but someone who really did this for so long and really so successfully, this is a win-win for so many prospective kickers out there to really learn the right way.
Well, I appreciate that. And yes, it's way more intricate than people make it out to be. I can teach a 2 or 3 day camp solely on punting, 2 or 3 day camp solely on kicking. So there's so many details that people don't really realize and know about that they can maybe tweak or change that could make them a better punter and kicker. And that's what I aim to do.
And you can find out more information at home by going to CraigHentrich.com. That's on the bottom of the screen, CraigHentrich.com. Put your email address in and get signed up and really be involved. Now, I got to ask about some of the short videos I've been seeing on Facebook. These are pretty good. Is the family working with you on this a bit and really developing into your guys' own thing?
Yeah, my wife and I do a lot of the video work together, and it's been fun working with her. She's kind of my boss, which goes beyond kicking and punting. But also my son Nate is also a aspiring kicker and punter. He's a freshman in high school, and so we've kind of used him a little bit in our videos to try to show his progress.
What's Nate's review on the course? Pretty positive.
He's pretty good. He's got some really good kicking talent because he was a soccer player growing up, kind of like I was.
Mm-hmm.
The punting's a whole different beast, but that's something we're going to be working on this off season and hopefully get him ready for this season.
That's really interesting. I didn't know you were a soccer player because I was talking. I played my whole life growing up with Riley Patterson, who now kicks over in Florida. I believe for the Jaguars, if I remember off the top of my head. But it seems like a lot of soccer players really can find some promise in a career in kicking, and that's interesting just hearing you say that.
Well, it's two totally different things.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so if you think about a field goal, everything is angles, and soccer style is coming at an angle to the ball, and punting is all straight lines, and so it's totally different muscle groups that you're using. And just totally different technique. And so I was very, very fortunate to be able to do both and be able to teach both now that I've lasted this long in the NFL.
Absolutely. And let's get to the playing days at Marquette, because you and I have a bunch of folks going, CJ, let's talk about the good stuff real quick. I heard a story that you would kick barefoot up behind St. Mary's at that park to practice. Is that true? Did you kick barefoot?
No, I didn't kick I tried it one time, and that was about the last time I did it. But no, I used to kick behind North Middle School, was where my dad and I and my brother used to go up and kind of battle it out. So behind North Junior was my big place to kick.
And how did you find kicking? How did it find you, or did you find it?
Well, growing up, my brother, who was 4 years older than me, his name's Bart. He's 4 years older than me, and he and I used to go out and play soccer together. And my dad built a soccer goal in our side yard. And we got bored one day kicking soccer balls in it, so we decided to go get a football and kick it over it. And so we would have competitions who could get further back, and we would kick them over the goalpost and then punt them back to my dad. And so that's how I got started doing both. And it really turned into a competition between my brother and I. And
it honestly seems like a great way to really get better without really realizing what you're doing with having that friendly well, not friendly if it's with your brother. I'm sure that's a competition, but to have that, it still progresses and propels you to move forward.
Well, I'm a very big goal-oriented guy, and so every day I'd go out, I'd try to beat yesterday's long field goal, and just being that competitive, and against my brother as well, who was much bigger and stronger than me, that really made me want a little bit more and made me work a little bit harder, and so that's kind of how I got started with all of it.
That's really interesting. And then fast forwarding just to your playing days at Marquette, you guys were able to do some really good things and had some great players a part of the programs. If you could take me through a few of the years, I know that there's some of the games that stick out. I've heard a few of them when you were back in town, I think maybe 10 years ago for a recognition night, or you were there with the team, and just hearing some of those stories, man, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, I was so fortunate and blessed to be able to play with such great players and play under great coaches. Coach Waters, Coach Slaughter, Coach King was my freshman coach. Played with some unbelievable athletes. One actually in my class, John Doolin, actually got a scholarship to Vanderbilt to play football. And so we had some really, really good players that we just had a whole lot of fun and played well together. It was just a team-oriented team. There was no selfish people on the team, and I think that's what made us good. That coupled with great coaching.
Now, were there ever times when you made the jump to the NFL and you're sitting there and you're going through, whether it's training or you're going through a game, and you think back at some of the things that Slaughter or Walters told you about, and you're going, "Yep, damn, it's still true today."
Yeah, there's commonalities between high school and the NFL. Trust me. And it's all about hard work. It's about perseverance, about overcoming adversity, and all these things that you hear about that are kind of cliches in the NFL. But it's so true that that's what you got to do to succeed. Is you got to overcome the adversity and really just be in the right place at the right time. And that's I was very, very fortunate to be able to do that.
100% over. And then, it's kind of funny, Craig. I was talking to the boss upstairs a couple of days ago, and he goes, "What do you got going on the show?" And I go, "I don't know. I got your cousin stopping by." And just to hear that, but really, your guys' family, in town is really well known, and really to have a spinoff to where, you're going and being successful, and now over in Franklin, it's got to be cool to see the Hentrich name spreading around and doing some great stuff in different facets of life.
It is, and we're so blessed and to have a great family and a big family.
Yeah.
And a lot of successful people who've worked hard and kind of made a name for themselves, and we're a very, very fortunate family.
And, getting back, Craig, as we're just talking a little bit more about how you train and how your online courses work, is it one of these where you're going to get a set of videos? Is it a series? Or how does that break down in a week-to-week basis if I'm a part of the Master Your Punting and Kicking courses?
Yeah, so it can go several different ways. The more personal stuff, the on-the-field stuff, is more limited to on-field stuff, but you get a lot more of the personalized videos and film breakdowns and things like that. If it's something very basic that you want, there's online videos that take you through the process of both punting and kicking step by step, and I'm able to really explain the intricacies of each step and really teach the kids how to coach themselves. And I think that's the key. The key to success in punting and kicking is being able to self-coach. Because if you can self-coach, you can make adjustments yourself and not have to rely on a kicking coach of some sort to fix you. And when you get in a game, these kicking coaches may not be there with you, so you got to learn how to make adjustments on the run. And I think that's the key to great kickers and punters.
I 100% agree with that. And with that being said, being able to tweak on the fly, I'm sure, and being able to coach yourself is one of the talents or traits of so many that make it, whether it's in the NFL or name a professional sports league. I'm sure that's what separates, that top tier from the rest.
Well, yeah, if your coaches can trust you, you're going to be there for a long time. And they trust you by you not having 2 or 3 bad punts in a row, but if you do have a bad punt, you fix it and you succeed on the next one. And that's the key to gaining trust of your coach and to longevity.
Well, and also on top of this, just me, just kind of reliving some thoughts that I had, kind of learning this. I always, the first thing I thought of is the game's on the line, you're down by 1, and you got a field goal to win it. Is that where it starts, or where does the real focus start? Because, we always think about the bottom of the 9th, bases loaded scenario. But, just for, a blanket statement, kind of just to get the ball rolling for some of the kickers out there that are, probably watching this, what's the first step in really visualizing the game? Because I don't think it starts at the end. Does it start even before the game?
Well, it does. And I was very, very fortunate to be able to play at Notre Dame for 4 years under Coach Lou Holtz. Coach Holtz was a huge influence on my life and really spoke life into me for 4 years. And he used to always tell us as kickers, and really as any athlete, pressure is a feeling you get when you're not confident in your abilities. And it's so true if you think about it. If you're so confident, really, where is the pressure? Like the goalposts don't get any narrower 2 seconds as they were with 1 minute, or the opening kick of the game. And so if you're really confident in what you're doing and you trust the process, you trust your training, you trust the drills that you've done, there really is no pressure in that situation.
Really interesting. And I don't know if you're reading my mind, but I had a Holtz question at the end of this. I was going to wait a little bit, and we'll keep that one for later, because I could only imagine playing for a legend, some of the stories. But, Craig, getting back just to, life overall and just your career, was there ever a moment, in a game where all of a sudden it all clicked, or did you have that aha moment, and not really in the NFL, but just in general, where all of a sudden all the things you were working on really made made sense? Because I know that's a disconnect for a lot of younger players, is maybe portions of it click, but it all doesn't come together in one, at one moment.
Yeah, it doesn't come together in one moment because what we do is so specialized and it happens so fast. For instance, from the time I catch a punt snap to the time it comes off my foot is about 1.2 to 1.4 seconds. Wow. And so there's really not a lot of time to think about a whole lot in that amount of time. And so you really have to train your body in the specifics so that you really don't have to think about it anymore and your mind is clear. And so confidence for me always was, if I did one thing right, I was going to succeed at this punt. And for me, that was if my ball, when I dropped it, if the nose didn't go down on it, I was going to kill this punt. I wasn't thinking about steps. I wasn't thinking about catching the ball. I wasn't thinking about anything other than that. And so you have to train so hard and so often that the other things just kind of leave your mind and you think about this one thing. And that's why it's so specialized.
And then on top of that too, just following that conversation briefly, Craig, is the fact that I think short-term memory is so invaluable in sports. Because, I've always, and just talking with sports psychologists, it's great to visualize, but it's also great to, once it's done, you retain it, but you move on and you can't dwell on it. Whenever you're kicking and things don't go well, how important is it to have that, I don't want to say tunnel vision, but that short-term memory of, let's get the next one, let's get back out there.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Coach Holtz again. Just another quote by Coach Holtz, because, again, he was so influential in my life. He used to always say that what the mind perceives, the body will achieve. And so he used to really go over visualization with us so much. And we'd have actually, he called it relaxation periods, where he would sit us all as a team in a banquet room the night before a game and help us visualize the big play that we're going to make in the game the next day, and overcoming anything that happens that's bad. And that just stuck with me throughout my whole career.
That's just incredible. I mean, that's so cool, because it's so fascinating to me. I think that so much of our athletes, in our area, we focus on getting fit and all that, which is important in learning, but also how do we deal with it too, and how do we prepare, and how do we, move past hurdles in the game. And that's very fascinating, hearing that from a coach such as Coach Holtz.
Well, the mind is a powerful thing, and he made us understand that very well.
And getting back here, because we're already been talking for 15 minutes. It's crazy how time flies during these. Is there a game that you remember with the Explorers, as we're getting back to hometown living here for a couple of minutes, that sticks with you? Because I know I've heard of a few stories, and I don't know, I can't correlate them, but downpouring rains and all of this fun stuff. Is there one for you that you kind of look back on every once in a while?
Well, personally, probably the game that sticks out to me most, and that I'm most proud of personally, is a game, I forget who we were playing, but I was able to kick a 53 and a 55-yard field goal in a downpour rain. And that one probably, for me, is what I'm the most proud of. But team-wise, I think just getting to, we had some really, really good teams. Yeah. And my junior year, we were one game away from playing for the state championship, and we had to go up to somewhere north and play this team that was really, really good. And they had a guy we couldn't stop. But just the memories of going up there and just the first time really feeling that pressure and that excitement about, man, we're one game away from playing for a state championship. Those are the kind of things. It's nothing really particular that I remember, but just those general memories of just being with the team and feeling that excitement.
And on top of that too, just one more local question, because I got to ask some more for you about Coach Holtz. Is there a spot? Because I always ask everyone that I talk to from the area that's out of town, I ask them this question: if someone from Franklin, Tennessee goes, "Hey, Craig, I'm going to Alton tomorrow, and I need the go-to place to eat," where is it?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
I do.
Here.
This is only hard question I ask, Craig. Is this question alone?
It's been so long since I've been back for a long period of time. I can't really be super confident in this, but when I used to go back, we used to always go to Tony's.
Yep.
And get the pepper steak. And that was one of my favorites coming home, and we always used to try to go there.
What's funny is that's the go-to answers. It's Tony's, or we're going to Fast Eddie's and getting an Elwood. That's interesting. And I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your coaches, because I mentioned Coach Holtz, and I wanted to ask a little bit more, but you've had the opportunity to learn from and be coached by some of the most talented coaches at all levels. And how important is it, to retain that information and also adapt it to other coaches that you encounter along your journey? Because I'm sure not every coach feels the same way or thinks the same way during the game. But how is that differential factor of, all right, new coach, but this great information can't leave me. How can I blend it to fit the needs of all?
Well, I think the stuff that I learned at Notre Dame from Coach Holtzner, he was very, very difficult to play for.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an awesome 4 years I had there, but he was very disciplined and very structured and very by the book. He was a motivator. And so the things that I learned from Coach Holtz kind of stayed with me throughout the NFL. And coaching in the NFL was a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of let you do your job and didn't really, speak into you as much as a college coach would. So you really had to know your craft well. And again, like I said before, you had to know how to self-coach, because if something bad happened, they expected you to fix yourself. And so coaches in the pros seem to be a little bit less hands-on than my experience at Notre Dame. But the experiences at Notre Dame is what kept me in this league for as long as I was.
Absolutely. And then just going off of what you just said there, being a motivator, and because, I think those are the coaches that I love playing for the most. It might be a little bit more difficult, but that by the end of it, you're going to be better off than if you never started. And, what I think is so important is the skills that you learned, and you kind of hit on it earlier when we first started talking about the things that you've learned that kind of stuck with you throughout your career and then into life. How important is it for any individual child or any youth to be involved in some type of team, and really gain that information of just that moral compass, ethics, participation? How important is that in your opinion?
Well, I think it's vital. Quite honestly, I think without sports, who knows where I would be. And the experience that I had in sports made me the man that I am today. It made me someone who works well with others and someone who overcomes adversity and who sets goals and who achieves goals. And all these things that you learn in sports is really life. I mean, life throws you curveballs, life throws you tough times. And those are the things you got to overcome to become a better person.
100%. And Craig, thank you so much for your time. I told you we'd be talking for 20 minutes, and for the first time in a while, I'm on the dot with it. But I got to ask one last one for me personally. What was the hardest thing for you to learn in punting? Was it, what I mean by that is, because I could never do the short punts and really just trying to traject him and find the sidelines and all that. I just punted high, punted far, and hope for the best and hope I didn't get killed by someone receiving it. Is there something that was a little bit more difficult for you to latch onto while you were developing your craft?
Well, starting off for me, because I just like you, I just punted as high and as far as I could in high school. And then when I got to college, it was kind of the same thing, but a little bit more in the directional punting mode. Mm-hmm. But really, when I got to the pros, the thing that I really had to figure out and to get better at was directional punting. And in the NFL, you have a great return man every week that you're kicking to. And so they want you to limit these returns by kicking to corners of the field. And so I really had to learn the art of directional punting. And it's a difficult art if you've never really concentrated on it before, but there's ways to make it a lot easier. And that's what my program does.
Absolutely. And one final one on the program, you can go to CraigHentrich.com to find out more information and sign up today. Is there a certain set of weeks in this course, or is it, does it progress with that individual and no time limit? It's just, month after month or week after week. I didn't know if there was a week course or if this was, we're just going to go do this together.
Yeah, and it's structured based on the person. But so for instance, the gentleman I'm working with now, we'll have an initial call of about an hour, and I'll explain to him the intricacies, go over step by step what the punting process is. In the next Zoom call or next video call, we're going to break down some film of his and give him some things to work on now that we speak the same language from the first Zoom call. And we're going to find out his progression from the first video to the second video breakdown. And that's where I think he's going to take the next step.
Really cool. And Craig, thank you so much. I know that you're busy, and to have you for a couple of minutes and chat, man, it was really great. Anytime you want to come back and give us an update, you're welcome. When you come into town next, we're going to Tony's.
I'd like it. That'd be good. Thank you.
Sounds good, sir. We'll take a quick pause here on RiverBender.com, our daily show.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
MCHS Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the MCHS team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MCHSInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
RiverBender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBenderRadio.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Suck it to you again. One bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, girl.
Give it one more try before you give up on love.
One bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, girl.
We want to acknowledge our educators here on RiverBender.com at around 10:35 and a little bit of change on this Wednesday morning. We have 3 Jersey Community Unit School District, 100 teachers in the studio. Dan Brandon filled me in on some of the accolades and some of the great work you're doing, and we're joined now by Miss Luma, Mrs. Fessler, and Mrs. Prangler. Did I get them all right? Close? Get him? Yeah. Oh, good, because I normally botch a last name or two to start off an interview, and I'm so glad to have you all here. So, really quick, let's break the ice. You were all nominated, correct, for an award. And what's the name of the award? I always get the actual name of the acknowledgement incorrect.
Meritorious Service Award?
That's what it is. See, I always say the service award and I forget the meritorious. And that's a great honor and a great accolade to really bestow upon your careers as educators. And let's start off. Let's start off with you, Mrs. Luma. Take me through the students that you teach first grade, correct?
I teach first grade at Grafton.
And I asked you walking down the stairs, so I set her up already. Yes. I said, you learn more from the first graders than they learn from you sometimes.
Sometimes I do. Yeah.
Well, and take me through your interactions with your students and what makes your guys' connection and bond so special.
Let's see, how can I say this? I teach to inspire kids.
Mm-hmm.
The reward is when they learn something new, how their face lights up and they get so excited. Although sometimes I think I get more excited than they do.
So I teach younger soccer to younger children a lot of the times, and I'm the same way because, they're happy about finally doing it. But when I see it click for them, that's like the most rewarding part of any part of the work that goes into it. Yes. And now, how long have you been teaching?
This is my 30th year.
Wow. And over the 30 years with technology evolving and all the craziness that comes with it, you've probably seen some changes through our education and learning.
We've gone from chalkboards to dry erase boards to computerized boards, you name it, from dial-up to everything.
That's incredible. And now, do you know who acknowledged you for this award? Who nominated you?
My principal, Mindy Wolfel.
And what was the reasoning?
She's new this year, and I've helped her out a lot, so she says. And the coolest thing is I was at Disney World waiting in line for a ride when I got the notification that I had been nominated for this award. So the happiest place on earth got a little happier that day.
That's wonderful. I got to ask, what ride?
We were waiting for Jungle Cruise.
Okay, that's a good one. I thought maybe Magic Mountain, that would be fun, right before you go on. And congratulations on that. I mean, that's really incredible. And then what I think is cool is working with younger students, because that could really set the tone for their educational experience for years to come. And I'm sure the work that you do really collaborating with them and developing those skills helps the next generation and then the upcoming teachers of the next generation as well as they get to middle and high school. Really cool. And Mrs. Fessler, I got to ask you, we were talking podcasts.
Yeah.
And I was a little nervous. Anytime I get asked about the software, I get a little tensed up. But I love this idea. Before we go into K-12 and all of what you do, I got to ask a little bit more about the podcasting, because this is super cool. Fill me in on a couple of the podcasts that are going on with the school district.
So in our school district, we do, with Mrs. Lamer and I, we work with the 4th grade every year to do a podcast, and it's either on 40 Famous Faces or 40 Famous Places. And the students do all the research, they write their script, they come up with the sounds and the music they want to input, and then they have some kind of original art to go with it. So it's really good.
Cool. Really cool. And I'm sure they all feel really good when those episodes are aired and everyone gets to see them too.
Yes. They're very proud. They feel like they really published something that's of importance. So that's great.
And how long have you been in the education system?
I'm on my 31st year, so.
Really cool. And now take me through your day-to-day with the district.
So you never know what my day will be. I work K-12. So today I started with drones in ag. So we did a whole presentation on how drones are used in agriculture, and then we got to fly drones, and we coded them, and then we flew them in a path, and we were doing that. So then I went on to data, and then I went on to troubleshooting with things that are happening, and then I ended my day 3D printing at the middle school. So you just never know.
Hold on here. You just threw out a lot of it. This is incredible.
Yes.
So students are able to learn, drones and learn coding and all that. At what age level was this?
I was working with 8th graders at the high school this morning in ag.
That's incredible. And has this program been going on for quite some time?
We did. I got the drones last year, and we started in 8th grade last year with them, and they love it. It's a challenge. It doesn't ever. The drone kind of picks up on people moving or something, and they don't land exactly where they want it, and then they have to go back and fix their code. They really enjoy it.
That's awesome. And now I'm sure with the improvements in technology, like we were kind of hinting on earlier, but with drones and with all these new ways to film and you name it, I mean, the sky's the limit for the students, really.
Oh, right. And we explored all the careers they could do with drones, and that was really interesting. I'm like, you guys could fly drones for your career. Like, what a cool job.
Well, and I love the tie into agriculture and really how it can spearhead, and just in Jersey, in Jersey County alone, that area into Grafton and all that rural farmland, how it could really be of some big help, down the road too, and learning that crucial skill.
Well, I reached out to Bayer when I was doing it, and they sent me pictures of what they do and explained what the things they use the drones for. So that was very helpful.
That's incredible. And do you know who nominated you?
Dr. Kate Sievers. She's our assistant superintendent, and I work closely with her with curriculum. So.
Do you know why?
She said it's because I'm her. She wants to clone me and have me.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
See, I kind of knew just in the couple of minutes of our conversation already that just to hear that impact alone is just incredible. And Mrs. Pringler, I got to ask, you're up next. You're on the hot seat. Take me through how long have you been in education first? Let's start off with that one.
About 20 years. I did take a couple years off when I had couple kids, but about 20 years.
About 20 years. And what is your current role now in the school district?
So I'm a reading and math interventionist for middle school.
And what goes into that day-to-day of working with the students?
So I have a paraprofessional, Beth White. Her and I both see kids who are anywhere from 1 to 3, maybe sometimes 4 years behind grade level with reading and math. And so we try to see kids in small groups of sometimes 1, sometimes 3 kids, and just really work on reading skills and math skills, things that they're missing, trying to fill in those gaps.
100%. And then I'm sure working with the smaller group and really having that personal interaction, there's a lot more growth that can be had there and learning some, maybe some learning mechanisms and learning some of those important skills. I'm sure that's valuable too, because I could have used you in 7th grade. I'm telling you what. So with that being said, who nominated you for this accolade?
So my principal, Tommy Leslie, he nominated me.
Good principal?
Yes. He's going to the high school next year, though. So
wow.
He's leaving us, but it's good for him. I mean,
that's always a bittersweet departure, when you're moving up or you're moving down the road a little bit.
Right.
And do you know why you were nominated?
I guess, in the last couple, we had, as everybody did, there were lots of budget cuts.
Yeah.
And so we didn't really have Title I or interventionists. So a few years ago it came back, and so I've been working hard to help kids get their reading level up and working with the RTI system and trying to get kids identified and get them help. And so really cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's really fascinating too. Why don't we do this? We got to meet everybody, and now we got to take a quick break. I got to pay bills here on this show, We'll take a quick break here on this Wednesday morning, and our conversation continues right after this in the heart of the 618.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Lennox system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good. You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
DJ Mike Keith.
This is where I am today. Let me show you where I started.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Munganast Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Munganast Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Look around your world, pretty baby. Is it everything you hoped it'd be? The wrong guy, the wrong
The
situation.
ice is broken. Welcome back to this 28th day of February. Great conversations continue on RiverBender.com, Roku TV. We were in the middle of our break, and Mrs. Luma, you said that your first graders were already starting the process of coding with Mrs. Fessler. Is that correct? Did I hear this correctly?
Yes, she and Mrs. Lamer kind of work together because there's so many of us first grade classes in the school district. But yes, my kids code with a little Indy car, and they use different colored mats to figure out how to make Indy go places that they want him to go.
That's incredible. What's it like working with the younger students, like first graders?
It is wonderful. We actually start in kindergarten with the Indies, and it's all unplugged. So they are coding, but they don't have to have a device.
Oh,
and
really
each
cool.
color tells the car exactly what to do, and then they have to figure out, like, our big challenge in first grade is, can you make it go in an infinity loop or keep going? So it's a lot of fun.
Well, what's the moment when they realize what this work is actually doing? Because at first I can only imagine in kindergarten when you're first learning, it's super cool, and it's fun and it's new. But once they realize the work that they're doing and how it works, I'm sure that's a really cool light bulb moment to witness.
Yes.
It's really cool.
It really is cool how they figure out, like they truly figure out it has to be on green to go.
Yep.
And they figure out, and so like a purple will make it turn left. So then they know what we'll do. So like, they figure it out.
They all work together in little groups, and they're all
That's what I was wondering.
the mats around.
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Yes. They get a little ecstatic about it sometimes, about where is this going to go? That's not right. You're doing it wrong, and we need to fix it. But they all work together, and it's a great opportunity for them.
And to be in kindergarten, first grade, to start learning what coding is, especially in this growing world of technology, is just crucial. I mean, that is really cool. I haven't heard of many districts that have that same opportunity. Mm-hmm. Really awesome. And now, Mrs. Pringer, we were talking. We were kind of just chatting on during the break, and what you do is really important. And, I kind of share with you my story, but whenever you're able to work with students that are struggling, because, no one really talks about the problem, the reading issues that some individuals have and not being able to do it. What's it like to really work with that student? Because I can only imagine it's not just the educational side, it's the confidence building that, you're doing with that student as they're learning to improve their reading and math skills.
It's just very rewarding. Because I've been a regular classroom teacher, and it's harder to see growth, I guess, when you have a classroom of 30 kids.
Yeah.
But when you work one-on-one with kids and you see, like you talked about, the light bulb coming on, like they're finally figuring it out, and then the confidence boost, and they go from, I can't read to, I can read and I can figure this out. And so it's very rewarding to see the growth.
And now take me through the relationships there, because I can only imagine if you do this for some time and you're working with those students that, a couple years down the road afterwards, they're not forgetting you.
I hope not.
Good answer.
I have some kids that I've been seeing since they were in 5th grade, and so they're in 7th grade. Next year they'll be at the high school, and so I worry about them, but I hope that they have the skills they need to be successful, and so I'll miss them.
And another follow-up I have to that, can you see their maybe mentality and moods change once they're starting to figure out what you're working on too? Because I can only imagine, it's a little bit harder to deal with, whenever you're struggling on some things like reading and math.
Right.
And then the moment you do, I can only imagine really just the change and the turnaround that could come with
Sometimes I get a little pushback.
Do you?
But, not always.
Yeah.
But, sometimes because they're frustrated, being a middle school kid and not having some of your basic skills, it makes it hard. So I do get a little pushback sometimes, but we just try to build that relationship, and then once they see, I can do it, then
Man,
makes a big difference.
Mrs. Fessler, you were right about this. I didn't even think about that, because middle school students are, going through a lot of life changes, and there's a lot of hormones and things going on, because I coach the middle school teams in soccer, and I know how that goes. And then add on that frustration, I could only imagine some of the kind of hurdles those students are overcoming. That's very interesting. And Mrs. Fessler, getting back to you, when you work with younger students, until you work with the 8th graders, all the way up the ladder in all that you do, what's the most rewarding age group for you? This is like picking favorite kids. See, this is where it becomes 60 Minutes. I welcomed us all in, and we're ready for toughies now. No.
That is a hard one. I definitely love to see the excitement of the primary ages. Like they definitely, but the middle school students are always a challenge to work with. And then when you catch them and they're really excited about doing it, that's also fun too. So I don't know. I don't know that I have a favorite. I taught high school math.
Did you
before
really?
I was a digital coach. So I also love to see a student with the light bulb turn on, or they were doing something in coding and geometry, and then they figure out something for geometry. So that's great.
That's really cool. And Mrs. Luma, we kind of talked earlier about an incident that I had, the only time I've ever had to edit a show in my entire life. But, sometimes younger students say what's on their minds, and I can imagine that being in that first grade classroom, you hear some interesting stuff from time to time.
Our rule is you believe half of what comes home, and I'll believe half of what comes to school.
Now that's a great point.
Yes.
And, you know, the relationship that younger students have with their teachers, you know, especially because I have some little ones in my family now that really look forward to seeing, you know, Miss Porter at North Elementary School and all that fun stuff. I'm sure the relationships that are already been established with your first graders are ones that, you know, kind of hit home a little bit, you know?
Yes, and I do have a lot of students from kids that I've taught that
That's
have
what
now
I was
grown.
gonna wonder.
And they come back. Yes, I get quite a few of those.
Well, that's what I think is really cool too, because that family story is continuing with one of the same educators that mom or dad had.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there's so much value in the Jersey Community Unit School District 100 because of those connections alone, and because that's something that kind of goes away in other districts where you don't have that storied history, you don't have some of those previous conversations with parents or have them as students, and it goes a long way. I think. I don't know. You guys have more of an insight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That the parents want the kids at the schools that they went to, and I think it says a lot for our school district.
Well, and for all of us here and not the Jersey Community School District region, but just for all of us in the outside regions, fill us on some of the growth that you guys have seen in the district, because hearing some of these programs, and then I know that, the trade program, is that in Jerseyville as well?
Yes.
That's doing really well, because I know that there's
yes.
one that's really doing fantastic.
We are making big strides there. It's been great.
Fill me in on the overall growth of the school district you guys want, because I'm just curious, because it seems like a lot of good stuff's happening.
Well, last year we started this new after-school program called Panther Kids Club. So we've had quite a few kids that sign up for that, and they get extra help with tutoring and another hour of enrichment, and it's more of a bonding time for especially my school, because we're kindergarten through 4th.
Okay.
So we got the older kids, and they're always helping the younger kids and during that time, and it's great. It's really great for all of them.
That's wonderful. Mrs. Fessler, do you want to fill us in on some more?
Well, I want to add to that.
Perfect.
I love going to Grafton. It's like a whole family down there. And they really are. Like, it's just great to work with. But that's, I think, the amazing part about our district. Like, we have amazing teachers, but we also have amazing kids. And like other people say that, but we really do. Like, it's just, it's wonderful to work with the people that we get to work with. So that's great.
Wonderful. And Mrs. Springer, do you want to add on to this too?
Gosh, well, we have Panther Kids Club at our school too, and it's been great because kids just need extra help sometimes. They get to stay after school, they get their homework done, they get tutoring, and then we bring in community members. We had a pilot come in last week and talk about how to be a pilot and all the things that go into getting the plane ready to fly, and so a lot of kids might not get to experience that.
That's a wonderful opportunity, though, because you're actually you're learning, you're having that tutoring session, but also getting insights from other folks throughout the community. That's wonderful. And
only when I had the pilot come in, all the other kids kept saying pirate, so everybody was stopping at my room going, "You've got a pirate?"
He has two legs. There ain't no peg there, you know.
That's a first grader for you.
Well, and as we've been talking, and I know this as well, but we've already been talking for 20 minutes, and I want to know what this recognition really means for you, because it seems like you love your job regardless of, if you have an award or not, and the work's still going to continue. But to be able to take a moment and reflect, and go, wow, my work is being rewarded, is being looked at. It's got to feel really good. And I'll ask everyone the same question. And Mrs. Lima will start off over on the left side of the dais today. What's that thought? What's that feel for you?
Oh.
Should we start with Mrs. Fessler?
Yes. Come on, Melanie.
What does it mean for you, seriously, to have someone really take some time and go?
It really does make a difference, because you work every day and you get to see those differences you make in the kids. But it is nice to think, hey, I've really worked hard in this. But it also makes you feel bad sometimes too, because why do I deserve this over somebody else? So I think that's a big deal too. But for me, it's always been the students. When you see that student just change, so we have after school at the high school too, and I help them with math. When they finally get it, or they're that's what makes the difference in your day. Even more than this, Those Who Excel award is helping those kids.
100%. Yeah. Miss Springer, Mrs. Springer, I'll come over down the right side.
Melanie and I were talking the other day, and we were just, I'm going to quote you. She said, I feel like I'm just doing my job, and I feel the same way, but it is nice to be recognized, but I feel like I could nominate everybody that I work with, and they would all get the same award. But
100%. Back to Mrs. Luna.
Yes, the same thing. And I've worked with some fantastic people, and I've learned so much from them along the way that I think it's helped make me the person that I am, the teacher that I am. So.
Well, and that's such a testament really to the district as a whole, because that's, just talking with you before and during the break and then now, throughout the conversation, it's really good to know that the district's full of wonderful educators that, like you said very brilliantly, anyone could have really gotten the nomination, and that just shows the quality of teachers and staff that you have over in the district. Now, one last question I have is just about the community atmosphere that is over with the school district, because I think it's unmatched. When you see the Friday night lights turn up at the high school and you see everyone coming out, but just on top of that, you have other, opportunities in the community that do support, the education of whether it's sports or whether it's just a fundraiser, and everyone shows up for it. What are your thoughts about the camaraderie, that kind of atmosphere within the district? Am I onto something? Am I kind of hitting it on the head a little bit? Am I?
I think so.
Oh, definitely. In the last few years, I've started Makerspace at the high school and at the middle school, and the number of donations and the community support that we've had, it's just been, I just couldn't believe it. And I didn't say, I need support, I need help. We had an article in the paper about the Makerspace, and then people contacted me and wanted to donate. So wow.
Really cool. Really cool.
Our PTO is phenomenal, and we've got a lot of parents that are involved in that. Anything you need, they have it for you. Field trips you want to go on, anything, they'll take care of it.
That's wonderful. Mrs. Springer, what are your thoughts?
I think it's great. We started, there's other reading specialists in the district, so I can't take all the credit, but Dr. Kate and the other reading specialists, we started a reading in the park over the summer. And every Wednesday, there would be a guest reader, like the mayor or the sheriff, someone reading the Jersey County Arts Council will come and do an art project with the kids.
They're wonderful. I love Christy. I think she's amazing. Yeah.
And the kids would get a snack and a drink, and then every kid would leave with a book. And so we didn't really know, how's this going to go? And last year was the second summer, and one of the times that we had out at the park, there were over 100 people there. We couldn't believe it.
That is just incredible. And that is such a cool program, too, to really bring the community out and the students and enjoy reading.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And is there anything else? We've been talking almost for 30 minutes. I'm sorry. I told you girls 15 to 20, and I always lie. But, is there any other thing that you'd like to get out here in this conversation? Because it's always great when we get to take some time and recognize our educators, because we do value that on the platform. But really, just what are your thoughts on the whole award? What is the thought going forward now? Just keep doing what we've been doing?
Yep. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Ms. Fessler, anything?
I don't think I have anything to add.
Do we have a second to adjourn?
Sure.
There we go. We'll take a quick pause here, and more of our daily show. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show very briefly on this 28th day. It should be the end of February, by the way. Leap year's got to go on RiverBender.com.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good. You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
DJ Mike Heath.
This is where I am today. Let me show you how I started.
Life's better when you're under our roof. agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Munganast Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Munganast Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
We gotta move, 10:55, a little bit of change. How about that show today? Coming up tomorrow, whoop, there it is, DC Glenn from Tag Team, but right now the All-Star Award on RiverBender.com. Oh, stewardess, there's a rat in my overhead container. Oh, yes, it's Sri Lanka's national airline said a plane was grounded for 3 days after a rat was spotted on board during a flight. Here's what we know. Sri Lankan Airlines officials said the rodent was spotted on board the Airbus A330 during a flight from Lahore, Pakistan to an international airport in Colombo. The plane was grounded for 3 days in Colombo while the aircraft was sprayed with poison, and technicians checked to ensure that the rat hadn't damaged any equipment by chewing through the wiring. Officials said the plane is back in operation, but delays persist due to 3 days it was out of service. Man, could you imagine getting back on that? Oh, don't worry, folks. Just now, we just poisoned it for 3 days. It's ready for you and your child to sit on. Oh, give me a break. Talk about a bad day at work, or in this case, a fun one. A Minnesota brewery shared a video of the moment a brewing tank malfunctioned, causing a brewer to be blasted with beer and thrown across the room. Oh, man. I was thinking more of a Stone Cold Steve Austin glass shatters and do a beer bash. Not today, the Back Channel Brew Co. And talk about having some hops to it. In Spring Park posted the video to Facebook showing a brewer named Brendan checking systems on a large stainless steel tank. The video shows a valve breaking off, causing a strong stream of beer to blast out and hit Brendan in the chest, launching him across the room. He's going to climb a mountain. The mountain of beer boxes he just got thrown into. Brendan quickly gets back up, starts trying to plug the hole with other employees rushing to help. The brewery said the New England IPA from the tank has now been dubbed the Blowback and is available in limited release. Obviously. In Florida, a woman captured a moment of a scary incident. An alligator chased after a golf cart with 2 people aboard. That sucker can outrun your golf cart, lady. Denise Press said she investigated a rustling sound near her home in Eva Marie. See, have we not seen Lake Placid, folks? We know not to go near those sounds. Discovered the cause was an alligator walking between her house and the neighbor's home. She captured the video as the alligator caught sight of 2 people taking a golf cart down a nearby path and had enough, pursued him. The video shows the gator lunge at the cart, snap its jaws, but the driver was able to speed past the reptile. I would use the term speed loosely with a golf cart. Bruce, video shows the alligator then gave up its pursuit and continued on its path in a nearby body of water. So I have to just show you a screen grab of this because, you know, this is just incredible. This is a bear, okay? Look at this. This is a bear inside a valve, okay? So this is this bear with a small vent hole in North Carolina. A small vent that this bear managed to get through. All right, back to me because that bear's had enough attention. So wildlife officials in North Carolina are reminding residents to be bear aware. Bear aware? bearware after a large Bruin was caught on camera squeezing out of the home's small vent opening. They posted the video to Facebook showing this massive bear, you guys just saw it, emerge from the small vent opening where it apparently made its winter home. And he didn't even pay rent. Lazy Bruins. I'm telling you, Bruins are no good. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Whoop, there it is. DC Glenn joins the show, Theater Thursday, and all of you. So on that note, enjoy your Wednesday. Try to stay warm and try your best to stay out of jail.